What's going on, guys? Chase Daniel here. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel. We are going to do something a little bit different here today. Rather than a quarterback breakdown where you're seeing film, we are going to pick and predict every single matchup in week 11. Can you believe it's week 11? I cannot. You guys have been so great. And we're going to do a little bit of a new series here. The first part of this video, it's going to be Chase's Pick 6. So we're going to dive deep into 6 matchups. I'm going to predict the score of each matchup. I'm going to tell you why this team is winning. I'm going to try to give you insights and valuable analytics that you can't get anywhere else other than here. And then we're also going to pick the other 7 or 8 matchups that is going on throughout the league. It's going to be a little bit more rapid fire. So without further ado, hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into it. First game in my pick 6 is going to be Chargers at the Jaguars. Chargers and Jaguars, man. Let's get into the Chargers part of it first. They're 7-3. There could be the 2 seed in the AFC. The thing about the Chargers that are really interesting to me is just exactly how they win games. Sometimes they are not playing well against bad opponents and they barely beat the Titans, if you remember. And other times they're playing really good against great opponents, like they beat the Broncos, 2-minute drive. And so I'm a little worried with the traveling cross country all the way to Jacksonville. And then when you watch Justin Herbert play, the dude's playing unbelievable. He doesn't have a run game. His offensive line is literally the worst offensive line in the entire NFL. So he has to carry the entire load. He's looked way more decisive lately. Even with the multiple protection issues, he's done a great job. Now let's go to the Jaguar side. They're 5-4, a little bit of a weird team with Liam Cohen. Here's the thing. Brutal loss to the Texans last week with Davis Mills. That's just something I cannot get over. Travis Hunter is injured. I just don't know what I feel about Trevor Lawrence. He's looked solid at times, but at multiple other areas, you've seen him struggle against really complex coverages. The Chargers defense can disguise pretty well when they are healthy, and the Chargers have the experience at quarterback. I would absolutely go with the Chargers this game, and we will. 30-20. Chargers win 30-20. My confidence meter on it, out of 5 stars, this is what we're going to give you on it. It's 4 out of 5 stars. Even though they're going to the opposite coast, I got Chargers winning 30-20. All right, Buccaneers at the Bills. Both teams are 6-3. This is a cross-conference clash with the Bucs being in the NFC South and the Bills in the AFC East. The Buccaneers, I really like the way that Baker Mayfield started the year off playing. They've just been so hurt. They've been injured, losing a tough game last week. I think Baker is playing some of the best ball. And then you go over to the Buffalo Bills side. Here's what I'm a little bit worried with Buffalo. I don't know if there's a worse 6-3 team than the Buffalo Bills right now. Josh Allen, if he plays within structure, he hasn't been great. The times he's been great is when he's out of structure, when he's outside of the pocket, and when he's moving. The thing is, they lost to a embarrassing loss last week versus the Miami Dolphins. And when you watch that game, a couple things really stood out to me. The first thing is with the Buffalo Bills, if they cannot run the football, they aren't winning games because they have no one outside to really stretch the field. That's my issue with it. And when they don't stretch the field, Josh Allen moves around. I think it's the first game since 2022 where he's had an interception and a fumble in the same game. He's trying to do too much, and I'm a little worried about what Josh Allen is going to do against that tough Buccaneers defense. They blitz from everywhere. So Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, better have a plan against that vaunted Bucs defense. I do like the Bills in this game, though. I do think the Bills at home, that gives me 4 or 5 extra points on the board. I think the Bills get back on track this week against a tough Bucs team. Bills 28, Bucs 24. Confidence meter, though, 3.5. I do think the Bills pull this one off at home. All right, next game, we got Bears at Vikings. Divisional games, you know, are really tricky, and I have broken down Caleb Williams on my YouTube channel in multiple different facets, from third down breakdowns to all game breakdowns. And I've also broken down JJ McCarthy, so I'm very aware of both of these quarterbacks. Let's start in Chicago. 4 fourth quarter come from behind wins for Caleb Williams. No one in their mind right now in the NFL is playing better in the fourth quarter than Caleb Williams. The first 3 quarters have not been great. And that's sort of what I'm a little bit worried about with this team. They're starting to run the football a lot better. This might be the best running Chicago team I've seen in a long time. But when you look at Caleb Williams, I want to see him do this earlier in games. I want to see him start faster in games. And it's going to be very difficult against this Brian Flores' defense to get into a rhythm. I remember what they did last year, Flores did against Caleb Williams. They blitzed the crap out of him consistently and constantly, making Caleb Williams make these off-platform throws. The one thing, though, I do like about Caleb is he's Houdini back there in the pocket. He's very hard to sack. That's going to be a huge matchup to watch. How does that defense from the Vikings hold up against the Bears offense? I would run the heck out of the ball if I am Ben Johnson for the Bears. Let's go to the Viking side of things. J.J. McCarthy. Up and down, has not played a lot, has not played well. He's got happy feet back there in the pocket. His mechanics are not great. I do think eventually he might grow into a legitimate starter in the NFL, but he just has not played well at all. I do like this game at home for Minnesota. The skull chant where they go, skull, skull, that whole thing, that is like unbelievable. And I do think it plays into the home field advantage. I do think, though, the Bears are going to go into the Viking Stadium and it's going to be a game. This is going to be a game that's going to go down to in the wire in the fourth quarter. I don't know if it's a high-scoring game. The Bears defense has thrived at taking away the football. I do think the Bears win 24-21. I think it's a close game. This is sort of a toss-up. That's why my confidence meter on this is a 2.5. But I do believe the Bears they got to show up. They've got a really tough schedule remaining, but give me the Bears. All right, next on my list, and probably the premier matchup of the week, Seahawks 7-2 at the Rams 7-2. Classic NFC West matchup. The Rams under Sean McVay always have a plan for this vaunted Seattle defense, and Matthew Stafford healthy again. Matthew Stafford, in my opinion, is the MVP. That offense just looks smoother right now. I think he's turned 13 touchdown passes to 0 interceptions the last 3 weeks. This will be a much more difficult matchup for this Mike Macdonald defense, the Seahawks defense. They're a top 10 defense in the league. Let's start with the Rams offensively. Rams offensively, they love to get into 11 personnel, but they want to get you in small people. They want to get the Seattle Seahawks in small people, meaning they want to put you in nickel or dime with 11 personnel. 11 personnel is 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 running back. They're hoping to match and then run the football. Although last game, the Rams used 13 personnel, so it's 3 tight ends to throw the football. So there's going to be a chess match for the ages between Sean McVay and Mike Macdonald, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. So I do think the Rams, they're rolling right now. Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyren Williams. I like the Rams, but I also love the Seahawks. The Seahawks are the surprise team. These are probably the 2 best teams, I think, in the entire NFC, and they're in the same division. This will go a long way in deciding the NFC West Championship. And when you look at the Seahawks and Sam Darnold, could they have not made a better move than to move on from Geno Smith, who's with the Raiders struggling right now? Offensively, the Seahawks are a matchup nightmare. JSN, the receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba, is one of the best receivers in all of football. They get into big people, meaning 2 backs, 2 tight ends, or 13, and they like to throw it rather than run it because they're going to match. Rams are going to match and have 3 linebackers on the field. They feel very comfortable with their matchups in that look. And then Clint Kubiak has just done a fascinating job. I like the trade that they went and got Rashid Shaheed over there from the Saints. He's able to fit in really nicely in wide away. Look for a big game for him if you're out there fantasy betting. I'm going to go Rams, though. And here's another thing. The Rams are people, there's no home field advantage at the Rams. There's going to be the 12th man there. They're going to be loud. It's going to feel like an away game for the Rams. So I'm not really factoring in the home field advantage for the Rams. But I got the Rams in this crazy tight matchup. 24-23 confidence factor for this one. 4 out of 5. All right, next matchup, we got Chiefs-Broncos. This is a classic AFC West matchup. The Chiefs, can you believe that they're 5-4? Broncos 8-2, the best record, or tied for the best record in the AFC. This is a rivalry game, and the Broncos, even though the Chiefs have been smacking them, the Broncos have played the Chiefs really, really well the last few years. The Broncos are improving, no doubt. My biggest thing is Bo Nix and that offense through the first 3 quarters have been abysmal. Like, they have not been good at all. There's been stats to back it up. They don't start fast. Bo Nix has happy feet. The Broncos defense, though, on the other hand, they're one of the best defenses in all of football. They're on record pace to set for sacks. And that Chiefs offensive line, that's a big matchup. Watch the Broncos D-line versus the Chiefs O-line, who the Chiefs O-line has struggled at times this year. And then when you go to the Chiefs offensively, Mahomes is playing really, really well. And they're spreading the field out. They're spreading it around to Travis Kelce, to Xavier Worthy, to Rashee Rice is back, to Hollywood Brown. All these guys are well. They don't have a run game. The run game is Patrick Mahomes. I think this is an extremely low-scoring game. This will probably be one of the best, most fascinating games out there. It's going to draw a lot of eyeballs. The Broncos being at home really matter in this game. I just don't know if the Broncos offense against Steve Spagnuolo's Chiefs defense can hold it off. I got Chiefs in this one with the upset. I don't know what it is, but I would call this an upset because they're 5-4. I got this 23-21. This is going to be a classic defensive battle. It's going to be back and forth all game. It's going to be one of those battles you look back and be like, that's one of the best games of the year. Confidence factor, only a 3 out of 5. Broncos could surprise some people if they get the offense going. All right, last pick in the Chase's pick 6, Lions versus Eagles. This might be the game of the week. 2 of the most complete teams in all of football. Jalen Hurts is playing through bumps and bruises. He's throwing the football when he has to. He's just a freaking winner. They won a really ugly game against Green Bay. The Lions, on the other hand, man, they've changed play callers to Dan Campbell. I think this factors in a lot. They put up over 35 points against the Commanders last week, and they looked really good doing it. Dan Campbell, the one thing I'm looking at for play calling, he gets his best people involved early. So you're looking at Jahmyr Gibbs, if you're playing fantasy, he's going to get a lot of touches. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's going to get a lot of touches. Jared Goff, criminally underrated. The biggest key in this game for both teams, though, defense. Can the Lions defense, and I think they're going to do it, they're just going to come up and play man-to-man. They're going to say, hey, Jalen Hurts, you will not beat us through the air. You will not do that. A.J. Brown could have a big game. They're going to be playing man-to-man. You got to get this guy involved early. Devonta Smith, excellent. This one's going to be a barn burner. I do think Eagles win. Eagles are at home. I thought the Eagles 26-24. Confidence factor about a 1. This is a toss-up for me. Like, it just is what it is. It's a toss-up. If Jalen Hurts throws the football well, the Eagles win. I think so, 26-24. This is the rapid fire round. We're just going to rapid fire off of it. You're going to see the picks. You're going to see the scores. Commanders at Dolphins. This is the Germany game. Dolphins looked really good last game throwing the football. I think they have too much speed. Commanders, no Jaden Daniels. I got Dolphins 38, Commanders 24. Let's move it on to the NFC South. Falcons with a tough loss last game against the Colts. I think they get back on track. The Panthers, I just don't know about Bryce Young. The jury is still out. Atlanta controls the tempo all game. They got to get under center. Atlanta's only under center 6% of the time. I think it really opens up the offense. I got Falcons 24, Panthers 17. Let's move on to the most fascinating game, I think, in this slate. Packers at Giants. Giants fired head coach Brian Daboll. Jameis Winston going to be eating W's out there, man. He's starting. And then you got the Packers. The Packers should win this game. The Packers have to win this game. The Packers are the most desperate team in this game. That's why I got them winning 23, Giants 13. QB and coaching edge goes to the Packers. All right, Bengals at Steelers. Ooh, it's a good one. Aaron Rodgers gets back on track. I truly believe it. I think the Steelers are going to win 21-17. Bengals are still a couple weeks out from Joe Burrow if he plays. This is a huge game for the Bengals, though. Classic AFC North matchup. They have to win if they want any chance at staying in the playoff hunt. But I got Steelers 21, Bengals 17. Texans at Titans. I got the Texans. Even though Davis Mills is playing, like, the Titans have been a dumpster fire, to be completely honest with you. Texans 27, Titans 16. Confidence, CJ Stroud not playing, but did you see what Davis Mills did last week? I like the Texans. All right, 49ers at Cardinals. Is Brock Purdy playing? Is he playing? It looks like it is. If he plays, it'll be interesting to see how he does because he's been out with that turf toe, that shoulder, all that stuff. Mac Jones has filled in really, really well for him. The Cardinals, though, they're moving forward. Jacoby Brissett. I like the 49ers in this one big, 31-17. And then we got Ravens at Browns. Lamar Jackson, he's playing. He's balling. It's the Browns. Come on now. Lamar makes the clutch plays down the stretch in this crazy divisional matchup. I got Ravens 24, Browns 20. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Hope you like this new sort of series, Chase's Pick 6, plus the rest of Week 11. If you like this breakdown style, hit that like button. It really helps. And drop your lock of the week and your upset pick in the comments. I'll shout out a few next episode. If this does well, then we'll just keep doing it. It's a fun way for me to talk a little bit of game, talk ball, talk analytical with you guys. And then I'll be back next week, of course, with all of my quarterback breakdowns. And next Friday, we'll do it again for Week 12. Appreciate you guys. Let's enjoy some football together.